Okay, so today we're going to be talking about equations again, but this time we're going to be talking about equations that are written in word form. So your goal for today is I can translate, which will be new, and solve equations. And you already know how to solve them, so we're going to be working on the translating part today. So let's go ahead and get started. So there's a couple important words that you need to know. When we did expressions with word form, we did not have an equal sign because expressions don't have an equal sign. But equations do. And so when we go from word form, we need to know what words tell us, hey, you need to write an equal sign. So we're going to look for the word is much as, is the same as, is identical to, is equal to, and then the obvious one, equals. And all of these words, when we see them, is going to tell us, hey, you need to put an equal sign there. All right, so let's jump right into it. So I'm going to give you something in word form, and we're going to first make an equation, but then we're going to solve the equation so that we get an answer. So let's work with the first one, and you're going to use a lot of the same skills that you used with expressions. Okay, a number, so let's use x, increased by, that should tell you plus, 9, the number 9, is, that's equals 15, and that's 15. So your equation is x plus 9 equals 15. So that's the first part, is coming up with this. Now we need to solve it. So we're going to put a box around the variable. This is plus 9, so we're going to do minus 9. Whatever we do to the left, we need to do to the right. 9 minus 9 cancels out, and we're left with x equals 6. Okay, let's try another one. All right. Twice a number, that means 2 times, and remember we like to use the dot for times so that we don't get it confused with x. So twice a number, this time I'm going to use y, is, that's going to tell us equals 18. So we have 18 right here. So I'm going to write this a lot cleaner, and it'll be 2y, because next door to each other means multiplication, equals 18. All right, now let's go ahead and solve this. So we're going to put a box around our variable, and we're going to divide by 2 because 2 is being multiplied to it, and the inverse is division. But whatever I do to the left, I need to do to the right. 2 divided by 2 cancels out, and we're left with y equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. All right, let's try some more. So 4, the number 4, less than, that means minus, a number, let's use k, is, that's equals 20. Now remember with subtraction, it's tricky. You have to really read it because sometimes it's flipped around and sometimes it's not. So 4 less than a number means that I'm taking 4 away from a number. So this is going to be k minus 4 equals 20. Let's go ahead and solve it. Put a box around the variable. The opposite of minus 4 is plus 4, but whatever I do to the left, I need to do to the right. Minus 4 and plus 4 cancel, and I'm left with k equals, and 20 plus 4 is 24. Okay. Let's do another one. So here we have a number, so I'm going to use c. Divided by, okay, so I know that that's division, 6 is, that tells us equals 8. So with division, there's 2 different ways we can write it. We can write c fraction bar 6 equals 8, or we can write c divided by 6 equals 8. For this one, I'm going to use the second one that we wrote, but it does not matter. You will get the same answer both ways. So I'm going to put a box around my variable. The opposite of divided by 6 is times 6. but whatever I do to the left, I need to do to the right. So divided by 6 and times 6 cancels out. I'm left with C equals, and 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, let's work on another one here. A number, I'm going to use, let's use D. Decreased by, that's minus, 5, number 5, is equal to, that means equals, 24. Now this is a subtraction one, but we will not have to flip it because it's saying a number decreased by 5, which means this number, 5 is being taken away from this number. So D minus 5 equals 24. Okay, let's go ahead and solve. So I'm going to box the variable, and the opposite of minus 5 is plus 5. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right, so plus 5. These cancel out, and I'm left with D equals, and 24 plus 5 is 29. And remember, you can always go back with each of these and check your answer. You cannot really make sure that you got the equation right, but once you have the equation, you can always plug your D back in over here like we've been practicing in class to check your answer. All right, so here we have the quotient of, and quotient is the answer to a division problem. So division, a number, I'm going to use J. And 3 equals, that one's an easy one, 9. So we have the division of J and 3. So remember, there's two ways you can write this. You can write J fraction bar 3 equals 9, or you can write J divided by 3 equals 9. In this case, I think I'm going to use the fraction bar one since I used the other one in the last example. So I'm going to put a box around the variable. I look and see that the 3 is being divided, and the opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 3, and whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. The 3's cancel out, and I'm left with J equals, and 9 times 3 is 27. All right, so it's at this point in the video that if you are still very confused, you need to pause and you need to rewind and work the problems again. It's going to get a little bit harder because instead of just numbers in the problems, I'm going to be giving you real life situations. And it's going to be the same process. You're still going to be working through and making an equation and then solving it. But it's going to be a little bit trickier because there's going to be other words that may not be necessary to the equation. So again, if you're still very confused, ask me for help and go back and review the video before you go further. All right, Kristen is 3 years older than Tracy. So older than means plus. How old is Tracy if Kristen is 15? And here's that is word, okay? Is 15. So when you see that is, that's going to signal, hey, there's the equal sign, and there's the number that goes with the equal sign. So I'm going to have my equal sign, and I'm going to have 15. Now I just need to figure out what goes before it. So it wants to know how old is Tracy. So Tracy is going to be my variable, and I'm just going to use it T for Tracy. Now over here it said Kristen is 3 years older than Tracy. So I have a plus and I have a 3. So I'm going to do T plus 3 equals 15. Again, I know this is a little bit harder than what we just did. So I'm going to put a box around the variable. I have plus 3, and I'm going to do the opposite or the inverse, which is minus 3. And whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. 3 minus 3 cancels, and I'm left with T equals 12. So Tracy is 12 years old. All right, let's do one with some money. After you withdraw, so withdraw means minus, $55 from your bank account, your balance is, there's that is, $310. What is the balance of your account before the withdrawal? So there's my is. So I know it's going to be equals 310. Okay? Now withdraw means minus, and I'm trying to find my balance from before. So I'm going to use a B for balance. But I took away $55. So B minus 55 equals 310. And I'm going to go ahead and solve. So I'm going to put a box around my variable. The opposite of minus 55 is plus 55. Whatever I do to the left, I need to do to the right. Minus 55 and plus 55 cancel each other out, and I'm left with B equals $365. That is how much I had in my bank account before I withdrew the money. Okay. When the students at AG Middle School are separated, that's going to be a key word, into 6 equal groups, there are 18 students in each group. How many students are at the school? So this word right here, are, is another form of is, and you should know that from language arts, okay? And so there are 18 groups. There is 18 groups. It's not grammatically correct to say is 18 groups, and so are is just the plural of is. There's a little language arts lesson for you. So it's whatever it is, it's going to be equals 18. Now this word right here is separated into 6 equal groups. Excuse me. That's going to help us figure out our operation. So I'm going to read through it one more time. When the students at AG Middle School are separated into 6 equal groups, there are 18 students in each group. So separated means that I am moving you away from each other, which means that I am dividing you. Okay, so we're going to use S for students for our variable. So we're going to have S divided by 6 equals 18. And now I'm going to go ahead and solve. So I'm going to put a box around my variable. The opposite of divided by 6 is times 6. And I'm going to multiply to both sides. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. The 6's cancel. And x is going to equal, let's see, 108, I believe. You have your calculator, I don't have mine. So there are 108 students. All right, let's try this next one. Evan made twice, okay, that means 2 times, as many baskets as his sister Becca. How many baskets did Becca make if Evan made 18? So there's no real big key word here like is or are to tell me where the equal sign is. But using some common sense, we can figure out that if Evan made 18, that was the end result. So it's going to be equals 18. And guys, I know that these are a lot harder than the beginning examples, but the key to getting these correct is really just practice, okay? So how many baskets did Becca made? Evan made twice, all right, let me read it one more time. Evan made twice as many baskets as his sister Becca. How many baskets did Becca make if Evan made 18? Okay, so twice means 2 times, and I'm going to use B for Becca. So 2B equals 18. So I'm going to go ahead and box the variable. I'm going to divide by 2. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. The 2's cancel, and I'm left with B equals 9. So Becca made 9 baskets. And if you think about it, if Evan made twice as many as her, well, what's 2 times 9? It's 8. Okay, so this is technically the end of the lesson, but I do have 2 challenge problems that are mandatory. Okay, so we need to find the value of x so that the rectangle has a perimeter of 90. So I'm going to write perimeter equals 90. Now, we did shapes when we did expressions, but we didn't have an equal sign with it. We just did combining like terms. But now we're going to do combining like terms, and we need to solve for x. So if this is 2x, what is this side? 2x. If this is 3x, what is this side? 3x. So I need to, just like in expressions, put them all together. 3x plus 2x plus 3x plus 2x. But this time I have to write equals 90 because I need to figure out what my x is. So let's combine like terms. These are x with no exponent, x with no exponent, x with no exponent, and x with no exponent. So we can combine them. 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2. And that's going to give you 10x equals 90. Now this should look very familiar to you. Put a box around the variable, divide by 10 on this side. Those cancel out, and x will equal, what's 90 divided by 10? 9. Excellent job. Now that's what x equals. So x equals 9. But then part B wants to know, what is the length of the rectangle? Well, this is the width, this is the length, and the length is 3x. But I know what x is now. It's 9. So what is 3 times 9? 27. What's the width? This is the width, 2x. But I know what x is now. So 2 times 9, and that is 18. All right, we have one more challenge problem. So we need to find the value of x so that the triangle has a perimeter of 55. So P is going to equal 55. So first I need to find x, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did with the last problem. So I need to add them all up. 4x plus 3x plus 4x, but this time I need to add my equals 55. Now I'm going to combine like terms. I have an x with no exponent, an x with no exponent, and an x with no exponent. So 4 plus 3 plus 4, and that's going to give us 11x equals 55. And this should look like a one-step equation. Put a box around the variable, divide by 11. Whatever you do to the left, you need to do to the right. The 11s cancel out, and you're left with x equals 5. But that's just the answer for part A. So part A is x equals 5. But now it wants to know what is the length of each side. So side 1 is 4x, but now we know what x is. So what is 4 times 5? 20. Side 2 is also 4x, so we know that that's also 20. And side 3 is 3x, but we know that x is 5. So what's 3 times 5? 15. All right, that is the end of this lesson. Remember that this is a little bit difficult, so go back and rewind if you don't understand it, and always ask me questions in class.